Hey guys, it's Logan, and a lot of you know that last year I went to Europe, and it was one of the best experiences in my entire life. We went to 21 different theme parks, and I just had a blast. And they also had some really good theme parks, and a lot of them are better than the ones in America. So, this is going to be my top 10 favorite European parks. So, let's get into it. Number 10 is Toverland. And when I went to this park, I had absolutely no idea what to expect. I barely did any research on it. So, I thought this park was going to be but no. This park was super interesting and very fun. And something I think that's kind of cool is that you start off indoors, and they have a few rides there. And the Madhouse, and that was very fun too. And then you get outside, and then you have coasters like Booster Bike and Troy, which is one of my favorite GCIs ever. And even the playground in the back, that was amazing. And if you saw the footage from my Toverland video, you could tell how much fun we were having, because that was just insane. So, this park definitely exceeded my expectations, and this is my number 10. Number 9 is Liseberg in Sweden. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it or not, but that's how everyone else pronounces it, but whatever. This is another one of the parks that definitely exceeded my expectations. And a thing that made the experience way better is our tour from Pontus, who gave us a tour of Valkyria, which we didn't ride, but we got to see. And also of Balder, which I got to sign, which was really cool. The coaster was pretty good too. And also Helix was definitely the best coaster there. And something that's interesting about it is it's kind of on a large hill, so you're going to have to take 2 escalators to get to the top. And they also have Atmosphere, which is a really cool drop tower. And Liseberg Bavon, I think that's what it's called. That's a weird Schwarzkopf. But this park, definitely unique, and I definitely recommend going to if you're in the Sweden area. Number 8 is Thorpe Park in the UK. And this park, I've been wanting to go to ever since I started watching roller coaster videos, 5 years ago. This park just looked so awesome, and when I went, it kind of didn't really meet my expectations, but they still had pretty good coasters like Nemesis Inferno, the Swarm, Stealth, and especially Darren Brown's Ghost Train. That was insane, and of course, I'm not going to explain it because, number 1, it's way too complicated, and 2, I don't want to spoil it if you're going to ride it. So, yeah, we don't talk about that. But this park, it kind of felt like a Six Flags park. You know, you have all the coasters with not that much theming on blacktop, but it was still a pretty cool experience. Number 7 is Gardaland in Italy, which was my favorite park in Italy, which isn't really saying much because Mirabilandia, that's the only other park in Italy that I went to. But still, this was a cool park. The food was pretty good there. That fry place, that was weird but cool. And their pizza, especially since I was in Italy, so of course it was better. And don't even get me started on those fruit popsicles. Oh my god. Anyway, they had some cool coasters too, like Oblivion the Black Hole, which had an amazing queue. Not that good of a coaster, but really cool theming. And also Raptor, which had cool theming, but not that great of a coaster, but it was still fun. And also that Flying Island, that was my first time I rode a ride like that. That was very interesting. And I think this park doesn't really get talked about enough. This is a cool park. Number 6 is Hansa Park in Germany. And this is another park that I barely knew anything about. The only thing I knew about this park was that they had a Gerstlauer Infinity and a Eurofighter, which I didn't know how to pronounce their names at the time. But no, the Gerstlauer Infinity was Carden, which is my favorite Gerstlauer ever. And then Fluch von Novgorod, which is my favorite Gerstlauer Eurofighter. Those are some awesome rides. And they have some other cool coasters like Nessie Super Coaster, and that's basically it. But no, seriously, we did meet quite a lot of fans at this park. It was really cool hanging out with them. And the people were very nice there. The park was very clean. And just definitely exceeded my expectations, way through the roof. Number 5 is Walibi Holland. And I had an absolutely amazing experience there. One of the main reasons is because Scott treated us definitely better than any theme park employee in Europe. Like, he was amazing. He might be watching this video, so I just want to say, hey, Scott, you're amazing. I miss you. But they also had Goliath and Lost Gravity, and they actually let me operate those two coasters. And if I did that in America, I would go to jail, which makes it even more special. But Goliath was definitely very good, definitely the best coaster there. And Lost Gravity, I thought, was very underrated. That park was awesome. And you know, if it wasn't for Scott and all the other employees there, this park would probably go down on the list. But this was definitely one of the best experiences I've had at a park in Europe. Number 4 is PortAventura in Spain. And I'm going to include Ferrari for this, even though they're separate admission fees. But I'm just going to count them both because, like, it's PortAventura World. But whatever. This park was one of my most anticipated parks on the European trip. And it definitely met my expectations. And, you know, Shambhala was a very good hyper, my favorite hyper. Dragon Con was okay. Stampedo was a very fun wooden coaster. And Furious Baco, you all know, I hated it. It's super unbelievably rough. But, you know, the coasters aren't amazingly themed, but the different areas of the park were incredibly themed, and I thought it was very unique. And also Red Force, that's a really good ride too. It's not that intense of a launch, but it's just a fun coaster overall. And this is like one of the most beautiful parks I've ever went to. Really good park. Number 3 is Europa Park. And this park is really good. Not as good as I expected. The main reason for that is because people often compare it to Cedar Point, which makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. I feel like Europa Park is Disney with good coasters. And this park was absolutely beautiful. Like, holy crap, this park was just stunning to look at. And if you're wondering why most of the coasters there are by Mock Rides, it's because the people who work for Mock actually own this park, and they gave us a tour of the Mock Rides factory, which definitely enhanced our experience. That was a really cool touch. And you know, Woden was definitely the best coaster there. Silver Star, worst hyper. But Arthur, that was weird. But Atlantica Super Splash, that was cool. Food Loop, that was very interesting. The food there was also amazing. And you know, this is just an amazing park. One of the best in the world for sure. Number 2 is Alton Towers in the UK. And I feel like this park is stupid underrated. Like, this park does not get talked about enough because this park is so unique. It is so cool. Like, when you walk into the park, it doesn't feel like a theme park. Like, you can't see the coasters anywhere. There's just these open fields anywhere, and it feels like a bunch of hiking trails everywhere. Like, this park wears you out. Like, you have to do so much walking, but that kind of adds to the experience because the atmosphere was really good. It was so beautiful. Like, all the flowers and the landscaping really blew me away. And also all the castles, like, apparently those are like 500 years old, and they just built a theme park around it, which I think is just fascinating. And their coasters are also awesome, like Smiler, a really good Gerstlauer, Galactica, Wicker Man, and Nemesis are all awesome. And they also do this thing where they can't build above the tree line, so like, it really doesn't feel like a theme park at all. I'm pretty sure it's like the rules of that part of the country, but that just enhances the experience for sure. Cause like, this is just super unique. Number 1 is Phantasialand in Germany. Where do I start? Like, this park is just so good. Like, this for sure has the best theming of any other park I've ever been to in my life. I'm sorry if I'm freaking out, but I just can't emphasize enough how cool this park is. Like, Terran, oh my god, that was amazing theming, an amazing coaster too. Black Mamba, which is not only an amazing invert, but also the theming, like all the rock work in the tunnels, that just blew me away. Like, that coaster is not talked about enough. And also Rake, one of my favorite family coasters. Like, that has a very interesting concept. And also their flume ride. That really exceeded my expectations. It was super unique as well. And the food there, don't even get me started. It was amazing. And also their chair swing ride with the fountains all over it. It was just so beautiful. And I didn't get to stay at the hotels, but they still have amazing hotels with spectacular theming. And you know, if I was ever going to go back to Europe and I was only allowed to go to one park, I would go to Phantasialand. Oh, and also I forgot to mention that Colorado Adventure, for sure my favorite mine train. Linja's the most unique spinning coaster I've ever ridden. That is weird. And this is just overall a super beautiful park. And like, this is basically everything you want in a theme park. Like, you guys should definitely add this park to your bucket list, because this is absolutely worth going to. So that's it for my top 10 favorite European parks. Stay tuned for my upcoming top 20 favorite European coasters video, which is coming soon, and also my top 20 favorite parks, which is coming soon as well. And I can't wait to do some more international travel and just travel overall in the future. And I hope you all have an amazing day and be brave and ride on.